Hey, what's up, fellas? How you doing? Man, Antonelli here.
Hey, what's going on, guys? How we doing? Matt Antonelli here. So MLB.com has looked across the major leagues and decided who has the nastiest slider in the big leagues. We're going to look at the top 5 sliders according to them. Now, before we get into this list, please put who you think have the top 5 sliders in the league. Just the most unhittable sliders that you've seen watching Major League Baseball from this past season. Put your top 5 guys in the comment section below. Okay, so let's get into this list right here. So this list is the top 5 sliders. It's not in any particular order. These are just the 5 guys with the best sliders in the league, okay? So first guy we're going to start with, Jacob deGrom. Why is it so nasty? Well, he throws the thing over 90 miles an hour. He averaged 92.5 miles per hour with his slider, which is it's just an amazing number. Now, when you watch his slider, it doesn't have your typical big break. It's very short. It almost looks a little bit kind of like a cutter. You're going to get a little bit of depth to it. There's not a ton of movement, but he throws the thing so flipping hard that it's really hard to hit. It is the hardest slider in baseball by far. Last year, there was 1,094 sliders thrown in the big leagues over 92 miles per hour, and deGrom through 708 of those. Now, there's only a 4.4 mile per hour difference between deGrom's four-seam fastball and slider. So they look very similar coming at you, and then all of a sudden the slider just breaks off a little bit. He collected over 100 strikeouts just on sliders last year, and hitters only hit the slider at a 186 average. Okay, the next pitcher on our list with nasty sliders is Ottavino. All right. 18.4 inches of horizontal movement on his slider, which is a ton. When you watch his slider, it looks like a frisbee. So this is the opposite of what deGrom's look like. deGrom's is short, tight, quick. Ottavino's throws it. It looks like it's going to come up and in at a righty, and then all of a sudden it just starts to bend, and it has so much movement. If this ball is thrown anywhere on the plate, the initial look of it has got to look like it's going to hit you if you're a right-handed hitter, right? The only way it doesn't is if the ball breaks way off the plate. And I've even seen some balls that are thrown by Ottavino, some sliders, that look like they're coming up and in, and then they break off of the plate. That's how much they are breaking. So it's an incredible pitch. So here's some cool facts. Ottavino's slider moves almost 10 inches more than the average major league slider. He throws it a ton. He throws it more than half the time. He throws it more often than he throws fastballs. And opposing hitters hit 157 against it with 46 strikeouts last year. All right, the next pitcher is Max Scherzer. Now, Scherzer has every pitch that Scherzer throws is absolutely disgusting. And the slider is one of those. So here's an interesting stat. 37.6% in the zone whiff rate. So when he throws a slider for a strike, they still swing and miss at it almost 40% of the time. Now, his slider, he throws it hard as hell, pretty much like all of his pitches, right? So it's going to be a high 80 slider, but this thing still has a ton of break to it. So he throws it so hard, it initially looks like a fastball, and then the thing just falls off the table. I've had the chance of facing Scherzer once in my life. I saw 3 pitches from him. They were all strikes. I didn't swing at one of them, and I struck out. And I just remember, I just stood there, and I watched the first one. It was kind of like a cut fastball. I don't know if it was a slider cut fastball. I don't know. It had a lot of movement. It was thrown really fast. I watched it. I go, ooh, that was pretty nasty. I get ready for the next one. I go, ooh, that was pretty nasty. I get ready for the third one. I go, oh, that was pretty nasty. And I walk back to the dugout. So, he's just ridiculous. Okay, next we have Justin Verlander. Now, Verlander, his slider is a little bit more like deGrom's. It doesn't move a ton. It's thrown pretty hard. He throws it around 90 miles an hour, and it does have a decent amount of break. Again, it's not like an Ottavino, a slider, even like a Scherzer's, but he gets a ton of swings and misses with it. He gets an over 50% chase rate, so he had a 51% chase rate on his slider last year, which was second in the big leagues among pitchers who threw at least 250 sliders out of the zone. He had 127 strikeouts in the slider, second to only Patrick Corbin. Opponents hit 119 against his slider last year. Okay, and the last pitcher that made this list is Chaz Roe. His slider it's a little bit like Ottavino's. It's actually, I watched the slider and I actually can't believe that it's real. It looks like a video game. It has plus 15.1 inches of horizontal movement above average. So he uses his slider a ton. 64% of his pitches were sliders last year. So he gets a ton of swings and misses. He gets a ton of just really, really weak contact. And again, it doesn't look like a real pitch. It almost looks like he's throwing a wiffle ball. So those are the top 5 nastiest sliders in the big leagues according to MLB.com. Let me know in the comment section below also who you think should be in here. Maybe they left someone out. Who do you think should be in there? Who has a top 5 nasty slider in the big leagues? They're doing this for pretty much all pitches, so I'm going to continue to look at this, give you my opinion on it, and we'll go from there. So thanks so much for watching. I appreciate it. Comment in the section below. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell. Thank you to our patrons on Patreon who help support the channel. I'm going to put a link up right now if you'd like to do that. We'd really appreciate it. And don't forget to check out our Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Antonelli Baseball. I'm playing a ton of MLB The Show 20 over there. Maybe I'll play against you if you'd like. Go over and check it out. That's all we have. We'll talk to you later.